What's going on, everyone? Hunter Doyle here from Philly Insider Podcast and InsideTheEagles.com. We have Patrick Johnson on here today doing an interview, edge rusher from Tulane. Patrick, thank you for this opportunity, man. First, I'm going to read off some of your accomplishments before we get started, just because I want to read off some of your resume, just the stuff that I was looking over. You got invited to the East-West Shrine Bowl and the Hula Bowl this year. I mean, PFF has rated you as one of the best edge rushers in the AIC the past few years. And I mean, you had some pretty impressive numbers at Tulane. Even in 2019, people will, look at the 4 sacks and say you didn't have a good year. You did. I mean, you go watch the film on the year, you had an amazing year, man. And hey, 2021 NFL draft prospect, what an accomplishment that is to just get to this point and be at the point where you're looking at potentially going to the NFL and playing on Sundays next year. So congrats, man. Amazing to see where you've come from, just starting at Tulane in the past 3 years, everything you've accomplished. So just tell us how you're doing and a little bit about your journey thus far.
I appreciate it, man. It means a lot to hear. But yeah, no, so my journey so far, man, this process has been amazing. I've had a great, agency that's, really had a lot of trust in me. And I've done a lot of great work with me so far. And I'm down here in Fort Lauderdale training over here at Brandon Marshall's place, House of Athletes. So training is going amazing for me. I'm getting stronger and faster than I've ever been before. So everything's going great on my end.
Hey, great to hear that. Hey, Brandon Marshall. I mean, talk about a former stud in the NFL. Great guy to be training down there around that facility. So, tell us a little bit about signing with the agency and just what went into that and how important they've been just in helping your draft journey thus far.
Yeah, it's most definitely, they play a huge role in, just connecting with, other scouts and, teaching me what, teams want to see from a player and how to answer questions the correct way. How to go about in life, it's just also just the expenses of things, as a college athlete, I can't afford a lot of these things. And so for them to actually have, trust, in me and to actually invest those kind of things, it means a lot to me personally. So my process with Ballingy it was very short. Ended up talking to them actually very late in the process. Like I said, trust, man. I saw the trust and the belief that they had in me, and it took off from there.
Yeah, guys, if you haven't heard about Ballingy, I mean, they've got great prospects just like Patrick here. A great agency that's just really putting out the prospects right now. So definitely go check them out if you guys are interested. And going along with that, I mean, you've had a long journey to this NFL draft, right? I mean, probably something ever since you got into football, this is something you've been working at your whole life almost. So tell me a little bit about your journey to get here, because everyone has a different story and, just different places they've been to, a lot of hard work that's just put in, like just day in and day out. So what's your journey?
Yeah, man, like you said, hard work. That's something that, a lot of people don't understand. What it actually really takes to actually get to this level, especially if you're not really highly recruited to like the biggest, universities and stuff like that. So for me, I was a 2-star athlete, barely had 2 stars coming out of high school. My recruiting process started very late. I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I went to Notre Dame High School in Chattanooga. Absolutely loved it there. Had amazing coaches, that were, fully invested into their players and did anything that they could to help us out. So I took every, advantage I could during that process, worked hard, days in and days out. So I ended up getting, I want to say 13 scholarships. I had a lot of FCS schools. I only had Tulane, FIU, FAU, Cincinnati came in the picture late. Those are the only big time, schools that actually end up offering me. So like for me, it's like all I've known is just work hard and, keep it level headed. And, that's what's kind of got me here to this point.
For sure. I'm a Temple football fan. So as a Temple fan, sorry. But hey, as a Temple fan, I root for the American Athletic Conference overall. And to see guys from Temple, to see guys from Tulane, Tulsa, Houston, all these schools in the past few years, even I'm an Eagles fan, Greg Ward, who was a former quarterback at Houston, now wide receiver. It's really cool to see these guys who, like you, 2-star recruits weren't really given much of a chance, and just the grit and grind each day to get to where you are now. And just, I mean, the American Athletic Conference is, Power Six, as they like to say. It's really starting to to come up. So mad respect to you for getting to where you are. And speaking of your time at Tulane, just talk about the coaching staff there, just the big takeaways you've had from your time, because I'm currently a sophomore in college. I mean, time flies. It goes quick, I'm sure. So talk about your time there and your experience in the coaching staff and their impact on you.
Man, coaching staff is nothing but amazing. They've been amazing to me, my family. It started with Coach Fritz. Coach Fritz, head coach over there. I want to say he just signed another extension on top of his last extension, so he's gonna be there for a while. But man, he's a man of his word. Very disciplined guy. That's what I really like in the program. So when I got there, it's like everything was already set in stone. What he wanted to do, where he saw his goals, that he wanted the team to reach. And the coaching staff, man, they were all aboard. I had my defensive coordinator, Jack Curtis. He was absolutely amazing to me. He was actually my position coach. So just think about, your position coach being your defensive coordinator. But it was also cool though, because I also got to see how he thought about things. And so I had, him, Coach Peoples, Coach Jernigan, a couple, guys that kind of helped out, and then Coach Dawson my last year. Man, he was truly amazing to me in my final year at Tulane, helping me out with my rushes and just learning the game on another level. So man, the coaching staff at Tulane, man, they're most definitely earned every penny they've been paid over there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and you talked about that level of trust with your agency. Sounds like you kind of got that with the coaching staff too, which is, you want to know you're going out there, and you want to believe in the guys that are telling you what to do, right? And just to not have any friction, be able to have that trust and just know that they're putting you in the best position possible, but not only succeed, but also have a chance to take your talents to the next level is something that's really important to take with you. And go along with more of your experience at Tulsa and just the production you've had. Tell us a little bit about your play style. I know, from what I've watched, pretty good with your hands. Good use there. You can drop back into coverage a little bit too. I believe you played in the 3-4. So talk to us a little bit about your play style.
Yeah, I take a lot of pride in being a very physical player. Coming into college, I played a more of a D tackle, DN kind of position before I actually transitioned to the outside linebacker position my sophomore year. A lot of people see the sacks and everything, but I know my teammates can, vouch for me. When I started the position, it wasn't because I was able to rush the passer. That kind of came along as the season went. I know my first season there, I think I had 4 games. I had 0 sacks. And then I went on a streak of having sacks because, I'm a quick learner. So when you ask me, what's my playing style, like I'm a quick learner, very physical. I can get after the quarterback, but I'm also very versatile. In my eyes, I think I'm the most versatile player on the field, no matter who we're playing against. I can do a lot of things: coverage, play the run, rush the passer. I can play special teams too. So, any team that's going to get me in the future, most definitely going to have their hands, full with just all the things they can do with me.
A big special teams fan right here. It's the third phase of the game. You win games with special teams, right? I mean, yep. I talk about it all the time on our podcast. I love it. People laugh at me for it, but hey, it's a big part of the game. Gunners can make a difference on field position. You got the personal protector on punts, stuff like that. Just the little things that can really change a game. Personal protector doesn't call the right protection. It's a blocked punt, and that the momentum completely swings. And also that versatility you were talking about too. That's the name of the game in the NFL and defense today, is being able to move guys around where you want them, different sub packages, just being able to do what you're asked to do. So, just being able to and I know a guy like Kyler Fackrell, not really a big name in the NFL on the Giants, but I watch him a lot because I'm an NFC East fan, and he can drop back into coverage. He's an outside linebacker just like you. He can rush the passer very well. Just being able to do all that stuff is important. And you hinted at your production. And I mentioned that 4-sack season in 2019. You still led the AAC in pass rush win rate. So, like I said, people like you said, people like to look at the sacks, but a lot of it is about watching film and being able to see whether that guy is really doing good or not. Because sometimes you won't be able to get the full story just from the numbers, but you were still pretty productive during your career. I mean, 6 forced fumbles, and you had 4 in 2018, and I believe you had 34 tackles for loss in your last 3 seasons, 11 pass breakups. So you did it all. So
So,
how are you able to kind of consistently just produce at that level? And, you said you're a quick learner, so touch on that a little bit too, and just some of the things you kind of learned along the way that led to this consistent production.
yeah, and that kind of goes in with the coaching staff, teaching me the correct things. And then, like how I said, being a quick learner, that also comes along with understanding how you need to be consistent at this level, even more at the NFL, because consistency is literally everything to those guys, to be able to produce over and over again. And it's not easy at any means, but, just being a hard worker and understanding, that you always have to take your game to the next level. That's kind of how I live my motto. My motto in life is really like, man, got to take it to the next level. I did good this year, but there's a lot of things you have to keep working on. So, look at my sophomore year, I felt like, I did a lot of good things, but also did a lot of bad things in my eyes. And so I feel like I really progressed a lot throughout my time at Tulane, and I give that up to the coaches and just my hard work.
Yeah, a lot of guys, as people would be surprised, get content with some of their success too. And it's good that you recognize just you always got to be reaching the next level. I like that you said this kind of a motto for life too, not just for football. I like that a lot. And I was talking about film and just film study and all that. How important is it to just look at film study each week, pick up little tendencies on offensive tackles that you're facing, offenses in general? How important is that?
Man, that's most definitely like the biggest part of the game. Just being in shape, being strong and fast and stuff like that. That's a small part of it right there in my eyes. I spend hours worth of film per week, studying opponents, studying their tendencies, the snap counts, the stuff like that. Like anything I can get from film, I'm watching it. I'm breaking it down with my defensive line coach. I'm breaking down stuff, on my notes, and then I'm going in there on his board and I'm really drawing up like all the stuff I saw. And then, during that week, like he's literally handing handouts, and I didn't know this, but he's handing handouts to all the guys. And I'm reading the notes. I'm like, I feel like I've seen this before. I realized it's like all my notes that I literally put on the board for him. Just kind of telling the tackles, the tendencies that they do and stuff like that. So like that's a huge part that I took a lot of pride in my game, because I knew that right there would really help me perform at a very high level week in and week out.
100%. I mean, you look at the draft, a lot of the guys will say, oh, well, this guy's, 6'8". He's 300 pounds. He's going to be an absolute monster at the next level. He can run a 40-yard dash in however many seconds, right? But some of them don't have, I mean, I know the Eagles have drafted guys like that, but some of them don't have the knowledge of the game. Football IQ, I mean, you can't just, you can't just always teach it. Sometimes you got to, there's a lot of like personal work that you got to do. And you can coach up a guy who might not have the most size in the world or might not have the most speed in the world by just going through film study with them. They might not have the scouts say higher ceiling or all that, but it's still there's still a lot of potential there to be unleashed. So I like that you said that, and just talk about in general being a pass rusher for any future pass rushers out there. Just the importance of the technique and fundamentals, like hand placement, reading stuff pre-snap, as you kind of hinted at, being able to drop back into coverage, and being a run stopper as well. Just some of the basics, little things that you look at, stunting as well. What are some of the big things that you look at?
Oh yeah, the biggest thing I've learned throughout my time is don't make any like pre-snap reads, basically, in terms of having a move you're already going to do before the ball snap. So, you can have an idea of kind of what you've been kind of want to work and stuff like that going into a game, because that comes from film study. But always take what an offensive lineman will give you. So, get a short set, jump set, go around, go inside. But, if he's jumping you don't want to try to stay outside. You weren't going to try to go under the tackle and stuff like that. It's just little things like that you learn over time is my biggest thing I would, encourage guys is don't go with a move just because you want to go with it. Go with it because that's what they gave you, and run with it.
Yeah, adjusting on the fly is another big thing at the NFL level, because you might see something on tape, you might get something completely different the next week you play them. So, offensive tackle might show something one week, and then next week he adjusts for your play style. So you got to adjust as well. So, going on a little bit of a different topic. I mean, athletes face a lot of different adversity, and this is kind of shifting away from just the play style and all that. you guys have a hard job, just being able to go out there and work hard every day. People don't see the behind the scenes of when you guys are out there grinding every day. You guys are human too. So talk about some of the times of adversity you faced and just how you overcame that.
For me, I most definitely, have most definitely had a great life, especially while being in college. So I wouldn't say I really gone through a lot of adversity, but there's a lot of things that, I had to throw out of my life. Just the staying up very late, trying to party. Say that's where a lot of guys fell at, in college. You're going out drinking and partying and stuff like that. And I've never been a big partier at all. I'll go hang out with the guys, on the weekend or something like that. But when guys go out during the week and stuff like that, and you got 6 a.m. lifts or 6 a.m. Practice, you have to be over there at the facility at about 5:30, 6 o'clock. You have to have the energy and stuff like that. You have to take pride in making sure that you're mature enough and also disciplined enough to take responsibility of your actions and stuff like that off the field.
Talking about taking responsibility, I mean, this has been a weird draft process, man. Just the COVID and everything this year and last year especially, just with the transition into COVID, I'm sure. But what's it been like? Exciting, challenging? What has the draft process been like? And no combine and all that. What's it been like just training each day? I guess you're going to do a virtual combine and pro day and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, man, it's most definitely been a lot of fun. It's pretty much everything I kind of like. Hopefully, I dreamed of. Besides, really being able to perform at the combine in Indianapolis this year. Every guy that is a big time football player, you want to be able to go there and perform under the lights that night. And now that we can't do it, it changes things just a little bit in just that area. But other than that, though, man, we've most definitely had great playing coming down here to Florida, training. It's going amazing. We're going to be having a regional combine here that Brandon Marshall is going to be hosting. So shout out to him. So that's going to be awesome. It's going to be televised too, I heard. So hopefully a lot of scouts and people can actually kind of watch that, kind of see where, a lot of the top prospects are doing. And then, pro day and stuff like that. Nothing's kind of changed in that aspect. I know it's a little bit later, I think, than usual. But I'm very excited about that. All my hard work is going to pay off March 30th.
Yeah, for sure. Glad to hear that. Especially, again, this year's just been so different. So I'm glad to hear that things are somewhat normal and that, seems like you still got a positive attitude about that, man. So want to commend you on that, dude. And, kind of wrapping up here, a couple more questions. What's something that you're kind of looking on improving before next season, before your first NFL season? What's like an aspect of your game you want to really change?
Stopping the run, better technique, better hands and stuff like that. Got to clean that up. And then just make sure clean, better on my rushes and just be a versatile player. Getting after the quarterback gets players paid nowadays, as a lot of people can see. So, and that's going to be my job at the next level. And I already know this. So most definitely, getting better at my craft.
For sure, man. And last question. What do you bring to an NFL locker room? And this is kind of your brag statement, as we like to call it. What are NFL teams getting if they draft Patrick Johnson this upcoming year?
You're gonna have a very, very versatile player, a guy that you can trust, like we talked earlier. I put in a lot of hard work for this moment, and you're not gonna be upset with what you're gonna get at all.
For sure. Hey, Patrick, I love that answer. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this, man. It means a lot to me. And I had a great time talking with you. I'm really excited to see where you go in the draft. Maybe the Eagles will take you. that'd be a dream come true for me. But I'm going to be following you, whichever team you get picked up by, man. It's going to be exciting. Anything you want to say before we sign off here?
No, man. No, I just really appreciate your time and taking the time to actually put the questions together. It was a great opportunity for both of us.
Hey, of course, man. Well, I'm going to let you go now. Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate your time again. And God bless. Good luck in the draft this year.
Appreciate it.
All right. Peace out, Patrick.
Yeah, see you.